Hello, and welcome to the Own Voices Virtual Reading Room. I am Neelam Chowdhury, Executive Director of Global Learning Programs at the Center for Global Education at Asia Society. On this Father's Day weekend, we are pleased to present a reading of Hair Twins. Hair Twins is a story about a Sikh father and daughter with a very special hair bond. Our author for today, Raakhee Mirchandani, will participate in a panel discussion on the Sikh American experience after the reading. Mirchandani is an award-winning writer and editor and author of Super Satya Saves the Day. When she isn't writing, Raakhee is either organizing her bookshelves, running races to raise money for kids with cancer, or styling her very curly hair with new oils and potions. She lives in Hoboken, New Jersey with her husband and daughter, who are the inspiration behind the book. As a special treat, we will also present a book called What Color is My Patka by Deepika Kaur Puji. We are also thrilled to partner with the Culture Tree on this event. The Culture Tree is a leading New York-based organization that promotes cultural literacy about South Asia through language and education programs. We are excited to have the Culture Tree's founder, Anu Sehgal, here with us today. So without further delay, let's get started with our program.
Hair Twins by Raakhee Mirchandani, illustrated by Holly Haddam. Every morning before I go to school and Papa goes to work, he combs through my waves. He brushes my hair like he does his own, splitting it down the middle like a river separating two enchanted forests. To smooth the tangles, Papa pulls coconut oil through my hair with his fingers. His hands move gently, like the man who plays the harp in the subway. Sometimes Papa braids my hair, making two twists down the sides of my face. They remind me of the long, snowy white braid my dadi wears to parties. When Papa combs his hair, I stand on a stool next to him. I'm almost as tall as he is. I feel like a grown-up. He calls me his hair assistant. Rubber band, please, he says. I hand him a pink one. Pink is our favorite color. Beard brush, please, he says. I hand him a toothbrush, and we both laugh. Sometimes Papa puts my hair in a bun, tight at the top of my head, like the jura he wears every day. This is our hair twin look. Hair cheers, I tell him. When I come home from school, Papa takes my hair down. I do my special hair dance to shake it out all the way. He joins me, moving and grooving, wiggling his hips. Hip cheers, I tell him. Every Friday, to celebrate the weekend, we meet my friends and the grown-ups who love them at the park. Before we leave, Papa ties his patka, covering his bun. Then he ties his turban, wrapping the fabric around his head. Sometimes he even lets me pick the color. Papa does my hair one last time for the day. This is my racing style. He weaves my hair into one braid like a long unicorn tail hanging down my back. Can you prance like a unicorn, Papa? I ask him, thinking about everyone who will be waiting for us. He smiles and lifts me onto his shoulders. I know he's ready to race. Last week, we were rocket ships. Next week, we'll be zombies. Today, we all run like unicorns, a herd tearing through the park. Braids and buns, spiked and shaved, we all fly together. My braid taps my back as I soar. And then I smell coconut. Papa must have caught up to me. I don't even have to look to see his fluffy beard, his warm smile, and his turban. I know it's him, my hair twin.
What Color is My Patka? Written by Deepika Kaur Puji, illustrated by Agus Prayogo. This book is dedicated to the best teachers I've ever had, my children. May you follow your hearts, hold your heads high, and continue to spread your light wherever you go. Mama loves you. Hello, I'm Ricky. I am a Sikh. Today, will you help me choose which color patka to pick? A patka is a cloth I wear on my head. It protects my long hair and I take it off before bed. Being a Sikh means I am honest and do good when I can. I work hard and always lend a helping hand. On Mondays, I wear a patka that's blue. I pretend I am a pilot. Do you like flying too? On Tuesdays, I wear a patka that's red. I pretend I am a firefighter. Watch out ahead. On Wednesdays, I wear a patka that's black. I pretend I am a policeman, keeping traffic on track. On Thursdays, I wear a patka that's green. I dress up in silly costumes and pretend it's Halloween. On Fridays, I wear a patka that's orange. I pretend I am a superhero saving the world with lots of courage. On Saturdays, I wear a patka that's yellow. I pretend I am a soccer player kicking and scoring a goal. On Sundays, I wear a patka that's white. I pretend I am an astronaut ready to take flight. Every day, I wear a patka of any color that I choose. It's a part of my outfit. Patka, clothes, socks, and shoes. My patka color lets me be whoever I want to be. But best of all, when I wear it, I get to be me. Now, my friends, I must ask you this. If you could choose a color, which would you pick? Sikhism facts. Sikh in Punjabi means disciple or learner. Sikhism is the 5th largest religion with over 30 million Sikhs worldwide. The Sikh turban and patka are symbols of humility, integrity, and discipline. Sikhism teaches that men and women of all races and religions are equal. 3 core beliefs. Naam Japna, always remember God. Kirat Karni, earn an honest living. Vand Chakna, share with everyone. Deepika Kaur Puji is a St. Louis native, wife, and mother of 2 beautiful children. After completing her psychology and advertising degree from Boston University, she spent time as a digital advertising professional at global ad agencies and Twitter. In 2015, she received the promotion of a lifetime to full-time mama.
That was such a beautiful book. Oh my goodness. The father-daughter bond. I mean, I'm reminded of my time with my father when I was a little girl, and, you know, the bond that we shared was somehow similar to the bond that we see in this beautiful book. And for everyone, I'm Anu Sehgal. I'm the founder of the Culture Tree. I will now host this panel with our little guests. and with the author Raakhee Mirchandani. Raakhee, just to start off, I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers, because tomorrow is Father's Day. And for those of you who are still looking for any good gifts to buy for Father's Day, this book is the gift to buy. I really do think. But Raakhee, I just want to start off by asking a little more about the inspiration for the book, the father and the daughter. If you can tell us a little more about them. And then also, I'm a big fan of your first children's book, Super Satya Saves the Day. Like, tell us a little more about that book and the character Satya. And just tell us how this book came about.
That's so great. Thanks, Anya. Thanks for being here. Thank you for that connection, Ricky. I'm glad to know that you love Super Satya also. Hair Twins is the story. It's inspired by my husband, Agan, and my daughter, Satya. It is the story of the two of them and their hair. And because of their Sikh faith, they both don't cut their hair. And I used to watch when Satya was really little, when Agan would tie his turban, she would stand on a little stool next to him, like almost every day. And she would just watch him. And it was like an everyday moment in our house. And as she got older, Agan would do her hair. And it's a time that we spend together every day before school. Sometimes we watch old Punjabi music videos. Sometimes we watch old Bollywood music videos. Sometimes we talk to each other. Sometimes we listen to a podcast. But it's a time that we have for the three of us. We're generally always together at this time in the morning. And I became really taken with this everyday moment. And I wanted to share it. I knew that it was special. I knew that it meant something to us, because the thing that bonded them and connected them to each other, their long hair, was the story of our family. It was the story of our faith. It was the story of their faith in action. And I really wanted to share this with our friends, with our family, and with the world. And so I thought about using this everyday moment as the basis for Hair Twins. So this book is very much about the bond that this dad and daughter share. And that exact moment of the little girl on the stool next to the dad is in the book. And that is just out of my house. And I say this because I think that, we go through our lives with and maybe 100 everyday moments happen, right? And they can feel real special to us, but we don't always tell everyone about them. I think sometimes we think we need to wait for the big stories and the big moments to share. And this book is an expression of everything who we are in the simplest of moments. And so I hope that it's an invitation for kids and for adults to share all of who they are, every piece of themselves with the world, just like I did with this book. And with Super Satya, that book is so dear to my heart, but this is Super Satya. The genesis for this book was similar in some ways. Satya really loved dressing up like Wonder Woman. When she was little, she was a real superhero, kind of obsessed little girl. And she would wear this cape and this superhero costume all the time. And I thought it would be so great if I could find a book where there was a little girl on the cover who looked like Satya. And I went to the bookstore and I went to the library and I went on Amazon and it didn't exist. And I felt really sad, because I know what it's like to not see yourself reflected in literature and in pop culture. And I just didn't want that for our kids. And so Super Satya was really born out of that moment, out of that desperate need, like a mom has to bring something to the child that doesn't exist. And so it centers a little girl with two long braids like Satya. As she goes about the day, her cape is left at home, and she thinks that she won't have a super day because her powers are in the cape. But of course, she realizes that the thing that makes her super is who she is and her ability to exist in a community, to help other people, and to be brave when she feels scared. And Super Satya, I tell that story because we're all gonna realize one day, we're gonna wish that there was a character that existed, or a song that existed, or a movie that existed, and it's not gonna exist. And it's exactly what happened to me, and it's going to happen to all of us one day. And the thing that you realize, that thing that's missing, right, is your story. No one was ever going to be able to write Super Satya. That couldn't have existed before. It's the story of me. It's the story of my family. And I just want to encourage, both adults and kids that when that happens to you, that moment you feel like, oh, this thing just doesn't exist. That is your cue. That is the universe telling you very clearly that you need to go home and you need to write that story. Because the thing that's missing in this world is your story.
That is beautiful. I just want to first start with Ricky. Ricky is our youngest panelist, and he has a question for you. So Ricky, if you can unmute yourself and first introduce yourself and ask your question.
My name is Ricky. I am 5 years old, and my question is, Satya seems very fun. How would you describe her?
Well, thanks, Ricky. I'm so glad you're here today. Satya is pretty fun. She's also pretty funny and pretty smart, and she's a lot of energy. I would describe Satya as curious. Satya is kind, and Satya gets into a lot of mischief and trouble. So she's very fun to have around, and I think her kindness and her big heart makes her a wonderful friend.
That's great. Ricky, do you have your favorite book that you want to share with us?
Yeah.
Which one?
I'll go get it.
Oh,
Awesome.
You go get it? Okay, first tell us and then you go get it. Which one is it?
5,000 Facts About Everything.
Oh my goodness. Wow. All right.
I bet you make great dinner conversation, Ricky. I like it.
So the next child who's going to ask their question is Leela. Leela, if you can unmute yourself.
I've got 2 questions. So my first one is, why do Sikhs not cut their hair? And my second one is, why did the girl's dad carry a comb in his turban?
Oh, that's a really great question, Leela. Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful. So in this book, you're right. You'll realize that the dad and the daughter in this book are Sikh and they don't cut their hair, and that's S-I-K-H. And as part of their faith, many Sikhs don't cut their hair. Not cutting their hair represents a commitment to accepting God's will, accepting themselves as they are. And so everyone's why that they don't cut their hair is going to be different. For Agan and Satya, they've shared with me that they don't cut their hair because they feel like this connects them to their community, to their Sikh faith and to their Sikh community. And it's also, Leela, you'll notice, right? It's something that you notice. It's a visual identity. And you think to yourself, well, I think I could probably assume that the boy who's wearing a patka or the dad who's wearing a turban, or, I can assume that they are from the Sikh community. And that's really important, the visual identity. So you know that they are part of a community and you can identify them. And the turban, Leela, represents this commitment to love and to equality and to seva, which is service, and to social justice. That is a really, really good question. I think you asked one more and I forgot it. I'm a very forgetful person. Will you ask it again, please?
The second one is, why did the girl's dad carry a comb in his turban?
Yeah, so in this book, the dad doesn't carry the kanga in his turban, but many Sikhs do. It is also an article of faith. It is one of the keys. But in this book, he doesn't. And that's simply because, Leela, everybody practices their faith differently. You will meet Sikhs, for example, who identify as Sikh, but who do cut their hair, right? Because there's going to be diversity in how you experience your own faith. And so my husband Agan doesn't carry the kanga in his turban, and so I didn't put it in.
And Leela, do you want to share? So tell us how old you are, and you share which is your favorite book.
I'm 7 years old. I'm 8 years old. I just turned 8 a few weeks ago. And I can't really choose what my favorite book is.
Oh, Leela, happy birthday, by the way. But I also can't choose a favorite book. That is like choosing a favorite cookie. It's impossible.
All right. So I think, Ved, you have your next question.
Yeah. So my question is,
why does Satya have coconut oil in her hair? Is it like a culture?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vade. So Satya uses coconut oil. She has a lot of hair. She has really long, really thick hair. And when we comb it in the morning, she can be very spicy. And so the coconut oil helps us to get the comb through without, with minimal crying and minimal complaining. And I use the coconut oil because it's the oil that my mom used to use when I was a little girl. And the smell of the coconut oil takes me back to being a little girl. It takes me back to India. When I used to go to India, my masis or my nani or my dadi would put coconut oil in my hair and give me a tel malish. And it just reminds me of all of those things that smell, that coconut oil smell. Satya is very fancy. So sometimes she uses other kinds of oils like fancy Moroccan oils or almond oil. But the concept is really the same thing. But the coconut oil for me is very, very special, which is why I used coconut oil in the story.
And we have Vidya. Vidya, if you can ask your question, and also if you want to share your favorite book.
I am 10 years old, and my favorite book is, the first book of Harry Potter. And my question is, did you share any traditions with your parents like Satya did with her dad?
Oh, that's such a great question. One of the things that I love, that I really hope for Hair Twins, Vidya, is that I'm sharing our family traditions with the world, and I hope that it will encourage other people to share theirs. So thank you. No one ever asked me about mine because they're always asking about Satya's. I did share some traditions with my parents, and they kind of are similar, where they were like small things that we did all the time. But they were really important and impactful to me. One of the things is we never brought shoes inside our house. And I used to wonder, like, why do we wear the shoes in the house? What is the big deal with this? And my dad would tell me that our house is our temple, is our sacred place. And so we don't bring our shoes inside. And it's something that I still do now at home. And it reminds me of kind of how important it is to be home and how special our home is. And so that's one thing. And then we had a pizza Sunday tradition that I still carry on. And we have pizza every single Sunday.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much to all the children who were on this panel. Your questions were amazing. I think one thing that I want everyone to leave with, and even our audiences, is think about the bond or the tradition that you share with your parents, and specifically if you have something special that you do with your fathers. Think about that to honor this beautiful book. Raakhee, this was an amazing, amazing session, and I loved the book. My kids loved the book.
Thank you so much. I love being here with all of you. I loved your questions. They're so thoughtful. It shows me that you really, not only did you read the book, but you thought about the book after, which really makes me so happy. Thank you so, so much. I hope that, you do really feel encouraged, kids. That's the only thing that I hope, that you really feel encouraged to share yourself and your traditions and your families with everyone, because who you are and who your families are so special.
Thank you, Raakhee. Thank you so much for joining us in the Own Voices virtual reading room. We really appreciate it. This is the perfect book for Father's Day. Really loved all of your questions. Thank you, Vidya, Leela, Ved, and Ricky. And of course, our partner, Anu at the Culture Tree. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.